Hey yo, what's up? You know what it is? It's the one in the alley, the triple, the G.O.D. I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guys Beats on Yo. WWE SmackDown Live presents Fastlane 2018, where you can course correct anything on your road to WrestleMania because that's what this pay-per-view is supposed to be for. Somebody getting in trouble, you don't feel they need to be the champion, you need to make some adjustments. This is the pay-per-view for SmackDown that does it. A couple of weeks ago, we had the same discussion about Monday Night Raw and the Elimination Chamber, and when you really think about that pay-per-view, and I remember what it was that I said about that pay-per-view, not a lot of course correction. However, this pay-per-view brought us something very special. One special thing that happened because every single other thing that happened, except for one thing that doesn't make any sense to me, still being this far removed from the pay-per-view, where course correction is a thing, right? So, how about we suss this out? We gonna sit down, breathe in, breathe out with me, everybody. We are going to suss out a pay-per-view. You want to do that? Let's do that. As usual, I do not watch a pre-show. Why watch a pre-show? Because usually nothing happens on a pre-show. There's only one pre-show a year you watch, and that's WrestleMania, because we couldn't fit everything on the main card. So something that was important to you that's not important to everybody else is probably going to be on it, but this is not that because this is Fastlane. Keeping up? Okay. Our pre-show match was Breezango and Ty Dillinger versus that boy Mojo and Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. And I could tell you who won, but does it really matter? The answer was Breezango and Ty Dillinger, but why is this a tag team match? Okay, let me be honest. I really don't pay attention to that side of the tag team division in the first place. I don't. So let's sit up here and pretend that I do. I don't. I just don't pay attention to that side of the tag team. The Fashion Files was cool for like 5 minutes, and then minute 6, it was kind of like, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin did what they could by trying to be the no fun guys or whatever, that being their gimmick right now, because they could have had a nice, decent run. But we'll talk about the Usos in a minute because that's not course correct. That's something else. Again, trying to sit up here, suss, and figure out why this is a match on a pay-per-view, no matter the reasoning why it is, just gonna make my head hurt. So I don't want my head to hurt. So let's go get to the pay-per-view that you pay to watch $9.99 for, WWE Network, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Shinsuke Nakamura beat Rusev. I am also trying to figure out why this is a match. Now, in this, I have watched the build up to this match because you want to build up Shinsuke a little bit because of what he's going to do at WrestleMania. And Rusev needs somebody to fight temporarily. Hopefully one day he comes out in another No Limit take with Aiden English on top singing Rusev Day. But I highly doubt that's a thing that's going to happen. But it's my dream. It's my dream. But Shinsuke just needed something to do because he's been punched this ticket to WrestleMania. Now, we could go back a couple of months ago and I could re-argue with myself of maybe that should have been that boy Finn Balor or anything other than Roman Reigns, but that's another conversation. Don't worry about it. Just don't. Stuff. Just hooray for Shinsuke Nakamura. A shame Rusev ain't been the same since John Cena whooped his ass at WrestleMania years and years ago. Am I still salty? Very much so. Moving right along. Randy Orton is your new United States champion. Great match. I will say that. Weirdly enough, Bobby Roode, after all of that, turned heel. I guess that was a heel turn because after the match was over, the modern day Maharaja, when you matter, let us penetrate India was a thing. You were the champion. We penetrated India. We no longer need you. But let's start some trouble because I'm the modern day Maharaja. You get glorious DDT'd. Randy Orton yeah, Viper, United States champion. Get glorious DDT. What this means for the glorious character of Bobby Roode at this moment, who really knows? But Randy Orton won every title in the company now. So, good for Randy Orton. Good for Randy Orton for winning every title in the company. What this ultimately means for anybody is anybody's guess. I don't know, because I can guarantee you this. That title will not be defended on the main card of WrestleMania. Bet me money. It's like, I'm not sitting up here saying that the title doesn't matter. But unless within this next 4 weeks, they make a legitimate build for something to make this match actually matter as a main card, it'll be on the pre-show. If that, just so you have a match where people are still trying to get into the scene, because it takes 5 years to get into a stadium to sit down to watch a wrestling event. Hey, it is what it is. In other news, Natalya and Carmella beat Becky Lynch and Naomi. Just ladies in a wrestling thing that needs something to do. And I really don't have much to say. The match was hot, for 0 seconds, because I'm like, I will admit, I tuned out. I'm not sitting up here saying that Women's Revolution is bad. I just watched this match and tuned out because I am not invested in this in any way. Y'all need something to do. Carmella need to cash in that damn money in the bank so we can just move on. Given what happens later in this pay-per-view, I have a feeling something I heard in the streets might legitimately be true. Moving right along to the only match on this card I legitimately care about, the Usos versus the New Day. Now, this is one of those situations where, I've seen that before, bruh. So, if you've seen it before and you've seen it so many times and we'll run everybody, and then, no, the Usos need something to do. The New Day finna throw pancakes and stuff, and then they get in the ring. So, what do? They sit up here hitting R1 and R2 like this is SmackDown, here comes the pain or something, because everybody's stealing everybody moves. And I'm just like, this is the sensible way to run it back. This is the sensible way that you guys have done everything to each other. In all sorts of matches, including a Hell in a Cell tag team match. So everybody doing everything, and it was nuts. Here is where, if you weren't paying attention, you'd think this is course correction. No. What happened after the Usos jumped over the rope, splashed the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers came out? Because let's talk about the boys Harper and Ross for just a brief second, just so I can say this. They've been beating up. They beat up jobbers for 2 months to try to get them over, which I don't really think was necessary. Then they start beating up Breezango and the Ascension because they had no one else's ass to whoop. And then while Uso sitting up here cutting promos every week, which I love, by the way, because they cut some high promos about, we started from the bottom, now we here 2 weeks in a row. Bludgeon Brothers walk out. Bludgeon Brothers walk out. The Usos and the New Day get back into orbit, and they sitting up here just throwing bombs at each other, on the microphone. You would have thought, and I'm going to say this, that you would have thought that as me watching this, I'm sitting up here like, well, the Bludgeon Brothers are just going to have a random tag team title match on SmackDown and just destroy the Usos, win the titles, and just go on a monster run. But then you sit up here and think about that. That makes no logical sense. Well, again, would it stop the WWE booking team from doing something that makes logical sense, right? So at this point, in my own thoughts, I'm sitting up here like, what do you do to try to get the Bludgeon Brothers over as a legitimate threat to the tag titles while sitting up here making the Usos and the New Day look strong and hot? How do you do all that? The exact thing I thought was going to happen happened. The Bludgeon Brothers came out and they destroyed the Usos and the New Day. Had this been 2 or 3 weeks ago, you could really legitimately make some weird joke about Black History Month because something about getting curb stomped on Martin Luther King Day. The Bludgeon Brothers walked out there and tow it up. And I'm like, if you needed a way to be reminded that this tag team exists for real and not just for beating up jobbers to get across the point. No, beat up the tag team champions and the number one contenders, because see, now you got something in WrestleMania. And then here is where it gets interesting. I have no idea if the Bludgeon Brothers are going to win at WrestleMania. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If they do, the New Day gonna eat the pin. That's what it is. Because see, you want the Usos to stay strong. The New Day, at this juncture, as a unit, or as a stable, as it were, are completely, mostly invulnerable from anything you could actually do to try to harm their character, because bootios, pancakes, gyrations, nothing you can really do to destroy that. The Usos need to stay looking strong because that's their gimmick. So again, if the Bludgeon Brothers are going to win at WrestleMania, the New Day is gonna eat the pin because it's not going to affect their character in any way. And then the Usos will ultimately get some rematch and then get legitimately destroyed, and then let the tag team division sit for a while, and then maybe, you know what I'm saying, with depending on like superstar shakeups or whatever. Because at this juncture, I'm reminded of a thing that I probably just need to just blow out there. My boys, my boys, my boys, my boys, and then I'm just sitting up here like, my boys, the Revival guy played. Like, yo, if you win this, yo, you go to WrestleMania, then they get whooped by the bar, and I'm just sitting up here like, oh my God. See, they need to get over on SmackDown. I'm not sitting up here saying that they'll go over there instantly win the titles or something, but I don't know what Raw doing with their tag team division. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of a lot of things. But here's what I'm sure of. We got a triple threat at WrestleMania. That's guaranteed. Randy Orton may defend the title on the pre-show, if that, so far. In other news, Charlotte is still your women's champion in a hot fight with Ruby Riott. I'm like, you need to give Charlotte something to do while she chilling or whatever. You want me to be for real? None of this matters. This match shouldn't even happen. I'm not sitting up here saying like that, but just think about it as, well, this was a match. This happened. The Empress of Tamar walks out. You, me, WrestleMania, let's do this. And it's like, yes, I completely, totally agree with whatever Asuka wants to do, because she's going to kick Charlotte's head off. Because see, here's the thing with this. This is the match you want to see. When you have matches on the card with, right now as we are speaking, of AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and matches like that, a Charlotte Flair versus Asuka match will tear the house down. This also does a wonderful thing for Twisted Miss Bliss, because they just gonna let her have a title, because it's like, who do you in that division put the title on? The answer is, we don't know. The usual answer would be Vicky Nia Jax, because, you know, it's time to give her a monster run. You could safely put the title back on Sasha if you choose. If you really want to try to rebuild Bayley's character, you could do that. And then everybody else on the women's roster at bed is kind of like, well, okay, fine, you could do a thing, but why would you do a thing? Because of a thing that you can do, but you're not going to do it. Asuka challenging Charlotte is the best thing that could have happened to Twisted Miss Bliss, because now that sits up her and that frees up Raw to be a lot more dynamic. Because see, Charlotte gonna drop the title and more likely go back to Raw, because you need a champion like Asuka on SmackDown. Because see, she just sat up her and murdered everybody on Raw, but a goddess like Asuka is going to do that because she's a beast. So in that, this makes 101% sense. You also, well, you did before last week, had what's that girl name? Oh, Ronda Rousey or whatever her name is. Okay, I'm being stupid. Before Stephanie and Triple H and this weird tag team match with her and Kurt Angle is a thing, is I was in this mode ever since she appeared at the Royal Rumble. Like, if they give this girl a title shot right out the gate, I might have to say out loud I quit wrestling and then don't do it. But I'm glad that she out the picture, that she's over there in some, well, let's say gimmick match. And I'm not saying gimmick match because, you got the gamer, you got Kurt Angle over here, you got Stephanie over here, you got Ronda Rousey over there. You need something for Ronda to do. Like, who knows how long this is going to last, that if she's really legitimately going to wrestle anytime and be an actual credible threat in the WWE, we don't know. We don't know. Like, you could have signed that contract for that one match, and it was that. But we don't know yet. She's sitting up here, Roddy Piper blessed me with this name, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, well, fine, lady, whatever. But actually do something, impress me, and then we can talk. So, what was my point? Oh, now I remember. The Raw Women's Tag Team. The Raw Women's Division. Like, I remember the last time we rapped on this, my boy, the big man of Luchador, made an interesting point that I just randomly just flew out of my mouth and thought of, is that maybe it's time for a women's tag team division. Like, I remember TNA did it for like all of 5 seconds or whatever, but maybe having something that's technically your mid-card belt, which will be in the tag team titles in that division, will give them more to do and have more dynamic things, but that's probably not gonna happen. Because the way that WrestleMania is looking, like, as we're speaking of this pay-per-view, as we are speaking about it, is when you look at Raw, it's like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. We could talk about that, but we're gonna cut impression promos. We're gonna shoot on each other, pipe bombs, blah 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 blah, whatever. I couldn't even tell you what else is legitimately happening on Raw other than you're going to crown a cruiserweight champion. But how many people legitimately care about that? I'll wait. And now I'm not waiting because there's no answer for that question because no one really legitimately cares. Like, there are some people that care, I'm not going to lie. But the average casual fan of wrestling does not really legitimately care about the cruiserweight division. That's just what it is. Let's just be for real. That is what it is, regardless. I'm sitting up here for real, just trying to rack my brain about, actually, you know what? I'm on the wiki, right? I am on the wiki. So if I just scroll down and I go over here to WrestleMania 34, it should tell me like what things look like as of right now. So let's see. Oh, I forgot about that match and I'm glad I looked. Is The Miz is gonna fight Burn It Down, and that boy leader of Balor Club, which I think is the dumbest in history. I just think Balor Club is dumb. Finn Balor, amazing wrestler. Balor Club, dumb. See the difference? Difference. So it is what it is with that. So in that, so right now, it's like this was what the card looked like. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. We still don't know who is the champion at this very moment on SmackDown, but we know Shinsuke is going to the grandest stage of them all. We already talked about The Miz, who's been kicking ass and continues to kick ass and continue to be one of the best stars in the damn company, versus Burn Down in Balor Club. And we got Charlotte Flair versus Asuka, and then we got that one match with people in it, which is the match. So it's just kind of like, well, fine. It just is what it is with that. You really can't do anything with that other than what it is. Because right now, that's the state of this company. Just to round out what is the state of this company, we have this 6-pack challenge, right? We got this and it's popping off. AJ won. So That was going to be a thing no matter what the thing was. None of these other five guys was going to win the damn title. That's just a thing. That was never going to happen. Kevin Owens nor Sami Zayn were going to win the title and they weren't going to stay friends forever. Dolph Ziggler, I don't know why you was in this match, and the same for Baron Corbin, because Baron Corbin could have probably been champion if they wanted to pull the trigger, but they sat up here like, yo, we're going to get this money in the bank contract and you're going to fail. Dolph Ziggler pretended to be retired. Like, Mark Henry did that way better than you, homie. Well, but I could get, you know what? Let's just say this. When he did that fake retirement thing against John Cena, they should have gave him a run with the title. Just putting it out there. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they got beef. So Shane McMahon interfered with the match and screwed them both out the title. But the title wasn't going to be put on them anyway because it don't make sense. John Cena been going back and forth as Mr. Free Agent of, well, I'm not wrestling The Undertaker because you can't wrestle The Undertaker. Best to get into a match, sits up for everybody but AJ Styles. And then just sits there at the end of the match and like, man, get that camera on my face. And I'm just like, well, okay. The thing was, there was no course correction in this match to speak of. AJ was going to win the match no matter what happened. Because, let's just be for real. I don't want to see anything from SmackDown when it comes to the title of WrestleMania other than AJ versus Shinsuke. I don't want to see anything else. Not even as a fan. Just as a human being who is sitting up here absorbing this as the duh of what the duh is. I don't want to see Shinsuke Nakamura wrestle anybody else at WrestleMania. And that's just me as a fan being selfish. In general, period. Selfish. Because that's what it is. The match was hot, and it's like the only thing the match was legitimately supposed to do was to A, give AJ something to do so he could defend the title at this pay-per-view. B, you have to use the rest of the characters in this match to set up whatever they gonna do going forward. Going forward as we get to WrestleMania. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, like I said, that wasn't gonna last forever. Dolph Ziggler, what you doing, Playboy? And Baron Corbin, what you doing, Playboy? And John Cena, man, just go marry whatever Bella you gonna marry and just go about your business. I'm not sitting up here saying it as a dismissive fan, but I'm saying this. As the narrative goes, it's like they gonna find something for John Cena to do. The question is, how much build up over this month is gonna take for it to build? The Undertaker's not coming. So you gotta find somebody for this dude to wrestle, even though no one can literally see him. So it's going to be a blank spot versus an actual wrestler. Joke, joke, joke. But hey, this match did a great job again, and I just want to say this just one more time, of establishing what needs to happen, starting from right at this moment. As soon as the match was over, we'll just call it that, to this build, right? AJ Shinsuke. All day long. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and that boy Shane O'Mac and Daniel Bryan, they gonna have something to do. Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, you know what I'm saying? End of days, what you gonna do? And it's going to be interesting to literally watch what they really do with that boy John Cena. As unlogical as logical sense may or may not dictate, it'll be interesting to really sit up here and watch. And it's like, and then you have everything that's Monday Night Raw that's building over there on that side of the field. You just really, it's just a lot of elements in the mix right now of trying to figure out, like, what is this company going to do to build a pay-per-view that people want to watch? We've got a whole month to find out exactly what that is. But yo, let's go ahead and let's wrap this up. I'd like to thank all of you guys for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks. So you know I am the one and only Triple the G.O.D. live on Team GRF TV. And with that being said, holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.